Well, hello everybody out there in Diablo land. This is your #1 favorite podcast, returning for yet another exciting, enigmatic, and other E-words episode. Oh, episode's an E-word too. This is episode 138, Deckard Cain Lives. And you may be thinking to yourself, no he doesn't. I saw him get killed by butterflies. You can't tell me what I saw in the truth. But maybe it was a Belial lie all along, because we've got new reports on things that have transpired since the last episode. So without further ado, I'm Leviathan. We have a 9-ball. Hello, hello. What's going on, my friend?
Yep. Not a whole lot. I still do not have a working webcam, so you'll just have to deal with the so hate face. Like how it cuts off just at that portion.
Yeah, I figured that was the most important, you know, of the meme things written on the picture. That's the one to really capture.
It was. That encompasses me.
The Lord of Hatred.
Mm-hmm.
The 8th prime evil.
Yeah, actually the first.
Or the last.
Yes. Yeah, let's go with that one then.
All right. We'll rewrite the lore at some point during this episode, I'm sure.
I gotcha. Just let me know anytime that you're ready for it.
Excellent. Well, there will be plenty to talk about lore-wise, because as we teased in the title of the episode, Deckard Cain is out and about, but not where you would expect him to be. He's wandered off to a different place.
He's been snatched up by the Nexus.
Yeah, you were talking about that on the last episode a little bit, and I was at PAX East, like you mentioned. I got to get some hands-on experience, and also now Deckard Cain is on the Heroes PTR, to spoil a little bit. So I'm sure many of you may be out there who are fans of multiple Blizzard offerings besides just the Diablo stuff. Maybe got to try them out already, but we can have a little discussion there. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we should do what we always do, which is starting with our weeks in gaming. I don't know why I did it that way. So
you're getting hyped for items of the week because it's been a while.
Yes,
we've had the echo, and so you're getting prepared.
Well, I heard on the last episode you did, and you were like, "Oh, it's sad to do without it." So I think I'm just gonna do it for everything now. Just 9-ball, 9-ball, 9-ball. How is okay. It's gonna get really annoying.
You know, I would be interested in seeing you go through an entire episode doing just that. So you echo every single word that you say.
I think I would just disconnect myself. I'm like, oh, something's wrong with the connection, man. Sorry.
I don't know what happened in production, guys, but we lost the episode.
I've had enough.
And then Twitch deleted the VOD.
Yeah, yep. There was no evidence to be had ever, and we didn't re-record it.
Yep.
But yeah, man, how's your weeks in gaming been?
Not too bad. I have been making progress. I think the only thing holding me back right now in my very slow journey as to getting Guardian for this season is conquests at the moment. Haven't had much luck with drops, but I also don't have a terribly high play time. I was just trying to work on getting a couple more ancient pieces and such, so that way I can do the kill 350 enemies, from the Cursed Chest event.
Yes.
Yeah, I managed to. My best clear so far was 280, but I just need a better build and some more diverse weapons, and I think I probably have got that one. Slowly making my way downtown on that.
Not to make you feel bad, but I was doing some bounties earlier today, and I was in the Pass of the Drown. Wasn't looking for this at all. I was literally just doing bounties, and I happened to cross that, and I was like, oh, well, there's the chest right there. Like, I'm on T13 doing the bounties or whatever. I was like, oh, I'll pop the chest. And I killed like 440 something dudes.
Yeah.
I had multi-shot DH though, so I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't make me feel terrible at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Moving on.
The band's breaking up, guys.
over Cursed Chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I've just been doing a little bit of World of Warcraft as well. I'll log in just every couple of days, farm up some order hall resources just so I can continue to use the Legion Companion app to make gold.
Nice.
In preparation for Battle of Azeroth. So just using it as kind of like a gold bank, so that way I can, I don't know, buy stuff or buy tokens.
Yeah,
once
so
the expansion comes out.
We got the release date for that, August, what, 14th, I want to say?
Yes, sir. August 14th.
Are you excited?
I'm pretty excited. They're making some changes. For anyone that's listened to the episode the show for a while, one of the things that brought me back into Legion was the PvP. And while they're making some more changes to World PvP, that makes it sound a lot more interesting. And it makes me wonder if it might be something that they bring into the Diablo franchise at some point, because it's called War Mode. And so they're getting rid of like the PvP and PvE servers, and everything is just going to be PvE by default. But you can go to your capital city and you can toggle in a war mode, which then basically kind of like pushes you into a shared server with everyone else that's toggled on war mode. And what that does is it makes it just as if you were on a PvP server. You can gank people and all that, but it gives you bonus resources and experience when you're out in the world questing.
Interesting.
So it's one of those, with greater risks comes greater rewards. And so they kind of, they don't want to go too heavy on it, and it will probably undergo a lot of revisions, but they don't want it to be like the preferred way of playing, that the bonuses are so good that you feel penalized for not going into war mode.
Right.
But I think it's one of those ones where it's just, people are just going to stay away from it if they don't want a PvP, period, and they'll take the less experience or the less Azurite for not having to deal with it.
Gotcha. Oh, that sounds pretty cool, though, just as a different way to play.
Yeah, because, one of the things that people, complained about when D3 first came out was the lack of the open world PvP, about being able to just join a game, turn on hostility and go and gank someone. Well, what if you actually can opt into it? So that way the people that don't want to deal with PKers can just go along their merry way, and people that do want to, kind of go against it have a kind of pseudo PvP mode that they can enable and just have to deal with it.
Yeah, that would have solved a problem for me when I was trying out World of Warcraft for the very, very first time. So when I was actually going back again to college, when I was a sophomore in college, I did the one free week. I think I had one of those cards or whatever that gave me some playtime, and I had no idea what I was doing at all. So I just popped in. I guess I either got sorted into or chose a PvP server, not realizing that I did that, and I spent one whole day just being killed by some rogue or something that just one-shot me. It was not fun.
Yeah, it doesn't sound pleasant. I've done the PvP servers a couple of times, and yeah, it's one of those ones. It seems like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You go onto a PvP server, you get ganked 50 million times on your way to max level, and so the first thing you do when you hit max level is go back into the starter zones. Well, this is what I had to deal with.
Return the favor.
I'm gonna make sure, these guys have to go through and suffer with it just like I did.
I like it. Pass it down. It's a tradition now.
And that's how you get World War III.
Oh God.
Just repaying it forward.
All right, moving on to less controversial topics.
Yes. Other than that, on kind of the other gaming side, I'm really excited for God of War, which is going to be coming out. I guess the early release is tomorrow as of this recording, which is the April 19th, and then the full release is on 4/20.
4/20, blaze it!
I feel as if that has some sort of significant meaning that's lost on me.
Oh, people who enjoy grass. No, I was gonna give you some really stupid explanation. Listen, there are children out there who they take a blade of grass and they do that reed thing where they make the whistle. That's what it's talking about.
I remember doing that in kindergarten. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is. It's God of War is one of my all-time favorite gaming franchises, next to Diablo, of course. And I'm really looking forward to having that sit on the shelf and not having time to play it.
Yeah, man, it's so much fun to buy games and then not play them.
Yeah, I actually, thinking about it, I have actually played a lot more video games in recent memory, because the new Hearthstone expansion just came out. Witchwood, which has been amazing. I am the Cancer. I went and made an odd paladin.
I am Cancer.
Yes. And it was just one of those, I got from the rank 25 to rank 17 in less than an hour.
Yeah, there are some filthy decks right now.
It of course it's being brought back into line, you know, as the meta forever shifts. I guess it's not as bad as Cube Lock, but it's been a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying it. And it's cheap too. You can make the deck for like 4,000 dust.
Oh, legit.
Yeah, it's one legendary in order to really just make it roll. It's pretty good. And other than that, on the tabletop side of things, I haven't really been playing much 40k or Age of Sigmar, but I have been playing their new kind of skirmish game, Shadespire, or Warhammer Underworlds Shadespire, whichever it's better known as. I recently competed in a tournament a couple weeks ago, and I managed to nab second place.
Hey, congrats, man.
Yeah, by 1 point. 1 point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guess every point matters.
It really does.
Were there any sweet rewards for coming in second?
It's just like some special tokens, collector box, collector cards, and stuff like that for the game.
Nice.
It's a really huge drop off from having this nice foot tall like glass etched trophy and. Oh, here's a deck box made of cardboard.
Well, listen, man. If you're not first, you're last. So what do you expect?
In the great words of Ricky Bobby, I cannot deny that. But that's about it for me. But what about yourself, sir? What have you been up to these past couple of weeks, month plus?
Yeah, it's been an adventure, man. I've been all over, and technically, I've been nowhere. I've stayed within this domicile for quite a few weeks now, just kind of like collecting myself. I took a bit of a step back from everything, I want to say, for about 3 weeks, maybe almost a month, because I was just kind of going through some hard times in life. But it was really good to be able to do it. I mean, it was at the expense of a lot of things, Life is always asking a lot from you, but sometimes it's tough to turn everything off. But if you can get the opportunity to do it and it doesn't like absolutely destroy your life, then it's great to do so, because I think just being able to reset or like give yourself time to breathe or think about stuff that's important to you and recalibrate is really important. I don't think we get a lot of time to do it with like a million notifications always coming to your phone, or all these things that we sign ourselves up for. It can just be a lot rolling that ball all the time. So in any case, I stopped for a little, and it helped. And now I'm back to doing a lot of the things I was doing. It really kind of reemerged with PAX East, like you had mentioned at the last episode. I went to that at the beginning of April, and it was really fun. It was actually a great time, even though, as you mentioned, there wasn't a great Diablo presence in terms of the game itself, but there was the reveal of Deckard Cain, so that was pretty cool to be a part of. And then there was like a cross-game event for the influencers who were there from Diablo, StarCraft, and Heroes. We went to this nice dinner on Thursday night, and I got to hang out with Brandy and Thunderclaw, made some new friends on the Heroes side of things. So, and what's crazy is that, this all happens in Boston, which is where I live outside the city, but I never go out really. So we're going to all these different like venues and bars, and I'm like, I've walked past that place a bajillion times, never been inside, and it's actually really cool. So that was a fun experience. It takes the outsiders to get me to try out some new things.
That's always, there's a meme that I've seen that's like, how does an introvert make friends? An extrovert adopts them and takes them places.
Yeah. It really is kind of the probably de facto way of getting out there, because you'll always have that one person, hopefully, that will drag you to be like, come on, let's do this thing. And I think, at least for myself, a lot of the times when I'm like, I don't really want to do something, but when I finally get there, I'm like, I find a way to enjoy it, But it's not like, unless I find my way outside the door, then I'm probably going to try and skip an event or something like that. But PAX is too important to skip, and I had a lot of responsibilities for BlizzPro, of course. So we had interviews on the WoW side of things, Hearthstone, and Heroes. And you'll be happy to know I finally got my picture with Ben Brode. It was a dream come true after seeing you get your time in the sun with him, and he always recognizes you. I'm a little jealous. So hopefully now I've established that relationship with him. Such a fun guy to talk to, and his passion for the game is just crazy. Like, he talked to us for a good 45 minutes, and it was just spewing knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb about their design process and what he loves about the game, what they're trying to change with Witchwood and stuff. So it's really cool. If you guys haven't seen that content across the different sites that BlizzPro has, we did interviews that were written up. We recorded them, but then we wrote them up. So really good content came out of it. And then
very nice. Very nice.
Yes. And I guess the other side of wrapping up PAX East was just getting to actually play some games. I did play some indie stuff mainly, because a lot of the major companies, like, you know, Square with Final Fantasy XIV, that's a lot of what they were exhibiting. They seem to be like one of the marquee sponsors of the event, because their stuff, like on the lanyard, like huge billboards, like it was a lot of Final Fantasy XIV promotion, which I found interesting. But the indies, like, you never know if you'll get to see those games come across your screen or if you'll play them again. So it was fun to walk through that area and just meet up. And they're really earnest in, like, wanting the developers and the community people for those games. They just want people to, like, acknowledge them. It's like, you know, senpai, please notice me. So it's a lot of fun to walk through and just have them give you, you know, their time and explain their game and why they're excited about it. So I played this one game called Crystals and Curses, which is on Steam, and I'm going to be playing it on stream, I think, tomorrow. And again, we're recording on Wednesday. So hopefully that should be exciting. It's a really cool puzzle game. It's supposed to be the Dark Souls of puzzle games and, like, really hard. So I'm excited to really dive into that. I got to play a few levels at the convention, and it was like early levels, so of course you're learning all the mechanics. It's pretty easy, but apparently it gets really hard.
Yeah, I mean, well, if they're going to go through and claim that they're the Dark Souls of X, you know, then, well,
you gotta bring it.
It's going to be incredibly difficult.
That's right. Outside of PAX, and shout outs to everybody that I did hang out with. Like I mentioned, I got to hang out with Brandy. I got to connect with Lashes, who's the community manager for the Heroes side of things. To talk to her a lot, which is really great. It's dropped me some industry knowledge bombs. Got to meet Deckard Cain, the cosplayer that does Deckard Cain, and he was really great. It was so weird seeing him in his, like, prosthetics and all that stuff, and then out of it I was like, this is the same person? Like, you're just a normal dude. What's going on here? Where's the cube?
That's supposed to be like a husband and wife duo that they do, like, kind of like semi-professional cosplays, and they've done other stuff for Blizzard events in the past, I think.
That's right. Yep, you nailed it. So yeah, they're totally in on cosplaying. It's like their life's work. So really, really impressive stuff. When I was stepping away, I wasn't really playing that much. I took the biggest break from Diablo 3 I think I've ever taken, which is crazy to say. I stopped playing for maybe a good 3 weeks, and I was actually playing Slay the Spire instead, which is a really cool, like, almost call it a roguelike deck building card game. So you essentially start out with maybe 12 cards or so, and as you fight each encounter, you build your cards up. There are, like, elite mobs that are a little bit harder. There's boss fights at the end of each act. There's 3 acts. You're climbing up this spire, trying to slay all the mobs. You can get treasure, but you have 1 life to live, basically, so you're trying to monitor your HP. Right now, there are 2 classes. They play a little differently. One, like, you know, can heavily cycle through the deck very quickly, and one is more about just, like, hitting, like, you know, you take some damage, but you deliver these massive blows. And so it's really fun. If you guys are looking for new games, like indie games or whatever. We'll talk about some other games that are out there right now, too, that are more in line with Diablo, but this is just, like, a break from kind of the Diablo stuffs. So it was fun. And then, like you mentioned, too, Witchwood came out. I've been playing with that. I didn't buy any packs, unfortunately, so I haven't been building much decks, but I do have some dust, so maybe I'll join you in Cancer.
Yes. Well, you'd be catching the tail end of it. The win rate has been starting to drop off significantly because the meta's kind of shifted to defeat it. But there's some other, you know, if you want to be cheap, there's some kind of cheapish Q block decks that I've been eyeing because that continues to perform well.
I saw Dog playing this rogue deck too that looked like it literally auto-played itself for wins, and I think it's relatively cheap too. It's another aggro. I think it's an even rogue or it might be an odd rogue.
I've seen a couple odd rogues decks that have done really well and have out aggroed me that I've played. So.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Ridiculous. But yeah, that's it, I guess, for gaming. As far as Diablo goes, though, I have been back to playing Diablo and starting the stream up again and stuff. So if you guys are looking for some of that action. I'm now playing hardcore again because my connection seems to have settled down, which I'm really happy about. Was able to hop back into hardcore. So I started a hardcore Demon Hunter last Friday, and it's already almost up to Paragon 800. We cleared a GR91 yesterday. Got really lucky with the gear, and like the process has been going very well. So having a lot of fun with that again. And it's all solo so far. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it in groups or not.
That was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. You got into the Greater Rift 90 faster than I have.
I mean, I do play this game a lot too, though.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, though. Actually, one thing, maybe it's early and maybe I probably won't get there, but one target that I'm eyeing right now is I'm like a couple thousand hours away, but I want to get to 10,000 hours of D3 played. And I think last I'd added it all up, I was 8,000 plus. I don't know how many hours I get per season, but it's probably a good couple hundred. Maybe by the end of this year, I'll be at 9K or so, but...
How many?
9K.
There we go.
9,000. But, you know, if we can get over 9,000, that'd be good. But yeah, 10,000 would be great at some point because, you know, that's that mastery number, right?
Mm-hmm. I do want to take a time for just a moment to say sorry to Brandy because she's been streaming a lot more regularly lately, and I'll usually catch her at kind of like the tail end of the stream. And every time that she says 9, like 9 o'clock or something like that, I always just like repeat. You know, it's like, what day are you coming back? What time was it? And she's always just like, she'll just always respond back, 9 p.m. You know, it's just like,
oh no,
it just goes straight through.
Oh, you troll.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I guess now you're just passing. It's the same cycle, just passing it on like we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, man. Well, I guess that wraps us up, catches us up with everybody out there. Let us know how your weeks in gaming are going. Feel free to hit us up via Twitter or email, westmarchworkshop@blizzpro.com. But you want to hop into some news topics now?
Yeah. I guess the biggest one since last we had an episode, or also I was gonna say since last we met, and I guess that technically is still true, and that would be BlizzCon.
BlizzCon.
We finally have dates. It took forever. It feels like this time.
This has to be the latest, right? That they have given us the.
I think the latest is actually May.
Oh,
I think
wow.
it was like there was a one point in time when it was May 6th or May 9th, but I believe that there was a point where they didn't announce the dates until May.
That's crazy. Then when did they even go on sale? Well, I guess that's ancient history, but wow, that's crazy. But yeah, this felt really late.
Yeah, and so yeah, November 2nd and 3rd, and we've got those awesome dates that kind of coincides really close to some other significant date at the beginning of November.
Yeah, my birthday.
It's just here, you know, like highlighted in the show notes.
It's very important, okay?
Yeah, Leviathan's birthday continues to be November 1st. If it changes, we'll let you know.
Yeah, no official announcement has been made yet, but we data mined it. Oh my goodness. Hey, I had so much fun last year getting to be out there for my birthday, and now it's going to be that Thursday before, which there's always been more and more built up on things that we do, so I'm excited, man. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. And also the other thing is, like, the Wednesday is Halloween.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So we normally always, like, fly in on the Wednesday or, like, the Tuesday or something like that. We'll actually be spending, like, Halloween in Anaheim.
We can come up with some sort of, like, costume party or something.
Yeah.
You can dress as your favorite character from Star Wars, Jar Jar.
Why'd you have to give him that idea? He's still here, I'm sure.
Oh, I know. We're just, you know, planting seeds.
Mm-hmm. No, just no. Anyways.
Anyway.
Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
But the tickets will be going on sale. May 9th is going to be the first set. And then May 12th will be the second. So there will be, I think, we're doing an episode that night, as we always are.
We'd have to, we can extrapolate the dates. No, not this time.
We won't. Yeah, we finally will not be doing an episode a night that the BlizzCon tickets go on sale. So if you're a listener to the live show, you'll actually be able to focus more attention on just getting yourself the BlizzCon tickets. And then the Saturday after that, they'll go on sale again in the morning.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So then the next episode will be like, hey, who got tickets?
Yeah, which there should be more than previously, because the expansion of the Anaheim Center is all complete. That was a really awesome addition to the venue that we got to go through and see last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because last year they put additional tickets on sale, and I think it was something around like 30,000. They're up to like 30 or 32,000 people at the convention now.
So many people.
Yeah, it's a tidal wave.
But again, like we were saying from last year, it really never felt that crowded, just because you do have it all spread out, and you know the multiple halls and the extra one now made a big difference.
Mm-hmm. And also their idea of actually kind of zoning off the particular franchises. You know, like Hearthstone was all out in the expansion. World of Warcraft like had its own area. Heroes of the Storm had its own area, so it was more kind of focused. That you could hang around one particular section of the convention center, and you would kind of get all of the content, you know, for your franchise of choice, except Diablo. But yeah.
Oh, let me see where that dagger is in my body. Could you just twist that a little bit more, please?
Because that following any talk about BlizzCon, of course, has to come the big question: well, what are we gonna have for Diablo at BlizzCon 2018?
Yeah. Well, even before that, let's go back to a topic that we just hit in your Weeks in Gaming. So Battle for Azeroth is coming out, and we still don't have a Diablo specific pre-order, you know, digital deluxe edition crossover thing. Like every game has a thing. I think it's something that like people were initially shocked by, but then like, oh, of course they're gonna like announce it later, maybe when the release date comes out, or maybe it's something that they can't talk about yet. But we haven't seen anything, and I don't think anyone's really like paying attention right now.
Yeah, I don't think that there's ever been a situation where they've gone back and announced additional content for a collector's edition because they were holding off on like the announcement of a new game or another expansion or something along those lines. So I hate to be the negative Nancy, but I do believe that there will not be any Diablo related stuff within the Battle for Azeroth collector's edition.
Which is wild to me, because if you consider that they were able to knock out the battle cruiser for the StarCraft anniversary, which to me, I would have like not even been all that surprised if that was a time where they skipped something. But I guess it just seems so, I don't know, on the face, it seems so apparent on the face of it that like this franchise is missing. Whereas like when it's StarCraft, I'm like, well, we're celebrating StarCraft. Like what could they do? So it's surprising.
From some of the conversations that I talked about, this goes back a little bit, and we were talking about like memory getting fuzzy. I think it was with like the announcement of Overwatch, and they were talking about the Mercy Wings that you got with the Overwatch Collector's Edition.
Yep.
Some of the conversation with the developers at that point, that it normally is the team itself that's responsible for their Collector's Edition accessories. So, you know, they'll go through, it's like we're doing the Overwatch Collector's Edition, and every team goes through and they do their own special thing about how to celebrate this new launch. And so that would mean that it would fall on the Diablo team to, you know, do something for Battle of Azeroth. And are they kind of at a point where they can't do something justice, or like they on the verge of like a big announcement at BlizzCon, you know, with a new expansion or Diablo Next or whatever, and so they don't want to add some content in for like the old game, or there's something going on there.
Yeah, I think I look at the ripple effect of something like this occurring, because then you think to yourself, well, does that mean you won't see any new cosmetics or things for coming seasons, because we still have to roll those out, and you know we haven't seen any repeat pets or wings or things yet. And then even with BlizzCon, right, you buy the virtual ticket, you get digital goodies. Is that, you know, now we're not going to see a Diablo thing there either? So like, is the sky falling? I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, I personally don't care, but I just, you know, when you're kind of like repping for your community and repping for your favorite franchise, it's just kind of sad to see, you know, the, I guess, stoppage of those little perks and things that you build a little excitement around every now and again.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine that we would still see something from BlizzCon. Maybe it will take the form of a portrait or a banner. We all love, our banners.
When's the last time you changed your banner? Exactly.
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Ditto.
Probably when the Necromancer released.
That would have been a good time to, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's just because we got something added on, like an accent or a sigil. I'm trying to remember the actual verbiage of what the different components of the banner is besides the banner.
I know, man.
It's background, sigil, it's background, pattern, sigil, and accent, right?
Yeah, man, totally. I'm just gonna back you on this play.
All right, that's where we're going.
You're the QB. Hand me the ball.
Yeah, I would imagine I would still see something. I hope.
I
maybe?
hope too. Yeah.
The only thing that I could see of them not having anything for Diablo at BlizzCon is because they're announcing a new game, and they're not going to have any special things for the new game that hasn't come out yet.
Right.
And just like the was it 2014 when they announced Overwatch, there were no Overwatch goodies tied to that BlizzCon.
Right, because no key art or any of that stuff had been revealed yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll see. I guess we can start the BlizzCon hype train and tentatively move it forward in terms of Diablo-specific things. Are you still on the side of the fence that no announcements of import will come down for Diablo?
Someone actually just asked me that on Twitter earlier today. Like, what would be my wildest theories or expectations for BlizzCon this year? And just to repeat what I said there, is my gut feeling on it is still, I think that's probably too soon for them to announce anything regarding the unannounced project. Yeah. And maybe there might come those rumors that have kind of died off about the D2 remaster, because that's not been talked about in a very long time. Although that's being handled by Classic Games and not Team 3. So we really have absolutely no indication whatsoever what the Classic Games division is doing. The StarCraft Remastered seemed to have been extremely popular. So I could see them going through and maybe wanting to take Diablo 2 remaster as their next big project that they want to move forward with.
Mm-hmm. Or is Warcraft next too? Because they did kind of have a little bit of buzz around WC3 with that random tournament that popped up, and I think they patched it recently. So
yeah, it could be. It also is one of those if you go back to the interview that Riker did with David Brevik, where he talked about he wasn't sure if Blizzard actually still had the source files for Diablo 2, which would mean that they more or less would have to completely rebuild the game from the ground up.
So it would be a much bigger endeavor.
Yeah, if that is actually true and they don't have any of the source material in order to help them out, that would be a pain.
Yeah, I almost feel like I feel like it would kill that idea almost, because at that point, you might be just better off making a new game, since you're essentially trying to make a new game, but to make an old game.
It's yeah.
I mean,
that's one of those ones where we likely will never know, because that's not the type of public statements that they'll put forward.
Yeah. The only other thing I can contemplate as far as a stage announcement, or maybe something that gets a little buzz, is the Nintendo Switch idea too, right? So
true.
That was something in the community for a little bit that had some buzz, and I don't think we've seen anything else to kind of push it forward. But it was something people were considering that, well, it's already on all the other consoles for the next, or the first generation, next generation, whatever, Xbox One, PS4. Now you have the Nintendo Switch. There were random little hints here and there and things like that, or maybe people making them into little hints. So, I mean, if they did announce that, I feel like it would be a cool announcement. I don't know if it would be the most hype announcement, but people are gonna buy it. They'd sell it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I would almost buy a Switch just to buy the game.
I kind of feel like I'd fall into that camp too. Mobile Diablo 3, why not, right?
Exactly. That was the big thing for me. That the takeaway of it is that I get to play the game wherever I go. I could be I could sneak away for lunch break at work and do a couple bounties.
Exactly. Yeah.
It sounds like that would be the the ultimate dream, the mobile Diablo.
Absolutely. So yeah, I guess something to keep our eye on. Of course, as we get more news as far as BlizzCon details, floor panel or floor what is it? Floor maps, panels, virtual tickets, prices, all that stuff. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah, all in the coming months. The one thing I will go back, you know, how we just mentioned that no one's really been talking about the Switch all that much. The other big thing, kind of from the beginning of the year, was that which one was it? Dang it! Now I can't remember. The Goldman Sachs analyst going through and talking about that there would be new content for Diablo and an Overwatch 2 in 2019. So if that particular like rumor or speculation comes true, then I guess we'd have to be like, we're almost guaranteed an announcement at BlizzCon.
Right, you're kind of running out of time to reveal anything. I mean, if anything, BlizzCon's the last chance this year for something that would have to come out in 2019, right? Because you'd have to have some lead time to announce and maybe beta or alpha. So you have Gamescom, E3, BlizzCon. Those are like the last big things in the second half of the year.
Yeah, and they've not done any type of major announcements at E3. They only Blizzard only has had a presence at E3 since they started getting back into the console side of things with first with Reaper of Souls, and then with or not for Reaper of Souls, but Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, and then, you know, carrying Overwatch into it. It's really been the only presence that they've had, and it's more of just having like a show presence than any type of announcements or panels or anything like that. But
that's right.
Gamescom would be a distinct possibility that if there's going to be any type of announcement, because we got Reaper of Souls at Gamescom.
Yeah, and they usually, I hear from people who have attended and stuff, like half of Gamescom is sometimes Blizzard's booth. They take up a lot of space, like major Hearthstone, like, you know, chairs and tavern style settings and whatnot, and demo machines and stuff. So they usually have a pretty big presence. Then they announced Legion there. What was it, last year or 2 years ago, whenever Legion was being announced?
Yeah, and Blizzard, all that I can ask is if you are going to announce Diablo 4 at Gamescom, just send an anonymous letter to me saying you should be at Gamescom this year. I'll get it, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and I will like sell a kidney and get a trip to Germany, so that way I can be there for that.
That's still a bucket list convention for me. At some point in our lives, we have to make it out there. It's supposed to be the one of the biggest gaming conventions in the world. So,
yeah, I think it actually, what was it, last year or the year before, it did like surpass the Tokyo Game Show, and it is the biggest one.
Wow. Yeah, man, got to get out there.
Would definitely love to do that, because that's just now I'm reminiscing about D3, because I still remember staying up till like 5 a.m. in the morning to watch the Worldwide Invitational to see, you know, the announcement of D3, because it was like all the rumors were just like nonstop. Diablo 3 is getting announced, and so it was just going through, tuning in, and then as soon as they you know, the guitarist came out and just started hitting those Tristram strums, it was like, yep, I need new pants.
Oh man.
But then it's just like, imagine that, but from the front row.
Yeah, to be there. I hope we're there. Yeah, I have a feeling that, you know, in the same way that maybe when they did like the Legion stuff, like the release, and even actually you can even look at the D3 release for Reaper of Souls. You know how they kind of had that event in LA and they invited a bunch of us out there and stuff. Like, you have to imagine they want their people there. You know, if not to just spread the word. So I don't know. In any case, I do hope we get at least a little advance notice.
We can only hope. Yeah.
All right. Well, pipe dreams aside, I guess we can talk about what's in front of us for sure, which is season 13, still going long and strong. We're entering the end of week 8 of season 13, so that's, you know, 2 months ish for those counting at home. And normally seasons are about 12 to 13 weeks long, so you could say we're about 2/3 through. You know, we're starting to see the questions in the Twitch chats and such, When's season 13 gonna end? When's season 14 going to begin? And as always, no official word yet. They usually give us the 2-week warning, and then we'll get the end date of this season and the beginning date of the next one. But if you kind of do the math, it looks like we'll see the end of season 13 maybe like late May, potentially early June, and then, do another 2 weeks out or so from that, and that's likely when season 14 will start. However, I'll throw this over to you. Something you touched on last episode was we're kind of in that window right now where if there was going to be a PTR, we would have seen it by now, right?
Yeah, I think that window has now shut at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so season 14, patch 2.6.1.
Yep. Looks like it's going to be more of the same architecture. But again, we've kind of been trying to prepare all you guys out there in listening land that it would have to happen at some point where we hit maintenance mode, we hit the transition of what the developers are constantly working on, which previously could be attributed to D3, looking at the changes that went to 2.6.1 and previous patches, to multiple seasons on the same patch and very minuscule to minor changes. We did see, with the outset of season 13, some of that back end helping out against the bots, fighting the third-party software and such. But, I think we're probably, and it still waits to be seen, maybe there could be one bigger update per year now, like what the cadence of updates will be. There could still be things that change with the game. I mean, they still update D2, so
exactly.
That's something to keep in mind. But it's just going to be far more fewer and less frequent updates. Yeah,
and they'll likely, when they do go through with an update, it will be maybe I'm trying to find the proper word for it, because it wouldn't be like groundbreaking, but they'd be big. Because when you go through and you think you look at like the Diablo 2 updates that have gone through like over the years, like 1.10, or then later on, I'm trying to remember what year it was. I think it was like 2010 or somewhere around there that they finally added in the ability to respec in Diablo 2. So that they did go and add some non-insignificant features into the game at some later points. But yeah, it was years in between.
Right. So yeah, that could be the future for D3, which I think from someone, I think from the standpoint of what we have been accustomed to and someone that's actively playing the game, it definitely will start to feel odd as you experience it while it's happening. But I think, it's acceptable in D2 because there's been so many years since that game's been like the thing, right? When it's been the main offering for the franchise. And so at some point you get used to the fact that, oh yeah, this game isn't a priority. Therefore, the updates for it will be far and few between. And I think that D3 is becoming that for the franchise, but it's just in that weird position where like you still think of it as the main offering, the main thing out there, because it is. But at the same time, it's, becoming less and less of a priority as we move towards whatever the next Diablo entry will be.
Yeah, and this is something that World of Warcraft goes through all the time, because you'll have that big period of downtime in between like the last raid of the expansion before you get the actual next expansion itself. Well, they've been toning that down, and making it quicker and quicker. For those old school players, like how many months was it that we were raiding ICC? They've gone through some some very long content droughts in World of Warcraft, and Team 3 is nowhere near the size of like the 1,000+ people that they have on the World of Warcraft team.
For sure.
Yeah. So it was inevitable that it was going to happen. It's like you said, it sucks while we're in it. But it's all for good things coming because they're working on what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest word the community will have to embrace is patience. We just gotta wait, man. We just gotta wait. Like and there's only so many things that we will know for sure, or that we can, conversations that we have and stuff. We're probably never gonna know anything major until it's actually a big announcement and revealed to everybody. But I can just say that from some of the conversations that I had at PAX East with Blizzard people, that they understand like where the community is at in terms of wanting more because they hear it all the time. They see it all the time. They have to read the forums and the Twitters and such. And they're not unaware of the fact that like there's a clamoring and they're doing stuff for us. We just have to wait.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, we have to be patient.
Patience. We must learn this and embrace this. All right. So that's pretty much it for season 13. The SSF League, for those that have been asking and wondering, is still going strong. One of the main questions I'm getting right now is if it's over, but no, it's not. It goes with the same length of the official season. So whenever season 13 ends, that's when this entry for the Solo Self-Found League will end. So if you're still contemplating or looking, honestly, if you're looking for a new way to kind of dig into the season, then maybe you could try Solo Self-Found League. If you need more information on it, feel free to tweet at me or check out any of the various offerings that we have on the web and such on the BlizzPro site as well, diablo.blizzpro.com. Dread had put up an article debuting it as well, so you can definitely get more info if necessary. But yeah, still going strong, and we actually have lots of great people laboring under the Solo Self-Found banner. Many amazing marks, many of them Crusaders, because Crusader seems to be one of the stronger ways to play solo right now.
I think that it's just one of the stronger ways to play, period. Right now.
Well, that too.
Oh.
As far as the solo Greater Rift clears go, they're just insane. I mean, it's still funny that, they haven't found a way to fit into the exact meta of groups and such. But yeah, if you're trying to clear your highest Greater Rift solo, they're doing it. So happy to see Condemn back on top.
It's like the dream becoming real, right?
Oh yeah, man. I once had a dream, and now that dream is real. Instead of from Morpheus, that dream was ripped from him.
Yep.
All right. And next on the list, we have PAX East / Deckard Cain in general. We talked about it a little bit. I did mention it's on PTR. I was wondering if you got a chance to try him yet.
I have not, but depending upon how late this episode goes, I might go through and try and download the PTR and get a little bit of Deckard Cain action in.
Awesome.
He looks like a lot of fun. Like a lot of fun. Like not your tradition this is not your grandfather's port.
Not at all. So similar to last year when they revealed the female necromancer at PAX East, they had kind of a show floor presence, which was all World of Warcraft for Blizzard, and that you got to like try some of the island expeditions and things like that. And then at the hotel that's near the convention, they had kind of a separate setup, and that was where the Hearthstone stuff for like interviews was taking place, and got to sample some Witchwood before it was released. Because some of this stuff, so I guess kind of inside baseball a little bit, but some of the stuff was under embargo, so we couldn't reveal what we learned until a certain date as media. And then some of the stuff was just like free for all, like the release date of BFA came out, and being able to try the stuff over there, the interview for a while, all that was just like free for all, have at it. But for Heroes and Hearthstone, there was some finagling of, hey, we're going to show you cards that we have legit not revealed yet, so you can't spoil it. And for Heroes, they didn't want us to like talk about the skins that you could preview on the client that you could try out. So I did get to play Deckard. I got to play him twice because I showed up early to the interview. So hey, early bird gets the worm.
There you go. Very nice.
And man, he is you're going to love him. I mean, the numbers might be different now than they were in that demo. And it's weird playing with bots as well because they do dumb stuff, especially if you're a support. Like I would throw out the healing potions because that's one of the things Deckard can do is like put healing potions on the ground, so you can like set up these zones of healing for people to take at good times. But the bots don't know what a good time is. So like I had a Nazeeba bot one time and he was just like taking so much damage. So I like throw a healing potion near him and Arthas just walks over. It's like, yep, that's mine. I'm like, that wasn't for you. And then the Nazeeba bot just dies to the camp that they're trying to do. I was like, what is going on, man? So I feel like you'll, just replace that with bad players and you're going to get some fun times trying to support because it's...
I can't wait.
It's different, man. It's hard because it's not a direct heal. You can throw the potions like right on top of a person, but if they move, it's gonna just land where they were once standing. So then it's crazy. It's madness. But The zone control stuff, though, from him is really fun. So the cube, when you throw it out, is kind of like this zoning AoE. It does a little bit of damage, but it can also slow slow heroes. And it's really great for kind of, if you want to pick out a target, be like, hey, grab that, Jaina, throw the cube on her, and then your DPS can jump on her. And there's also like this ceiling thing that he can do that roots people. And you can combine those two, like slow them down, and then the root will be able to catch them because there's like a little bit of channeling time on it. Like he's so much. But I think especially what you're gonna love is the Lornado.
It does look like just like an excellent zoning tool.
Oh my god!
It's like that one is gonna be more or less like a map pick, because you want narrow corridors and such, in order to get the most effectiveness out of it.
For sure, yep.
But both Lornado and Stay a While and Listen look like they're gonna have a ton of utility. It's like you're a healer, but you're more so. It almost seems like you're like preventive maintenance. You're gonna shut down the enemy team, and that's how you keep your team alive.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think not only are you giving some HP back to your team, but really you're preventing the damage to come in because of exactly what you said, preventing the team, the opposing team from like being able to pick out their targets, or like you're a disruptor basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so much fun. It makes me want to play some more heroes. Maybe that's a thing we can do.
That could be. Like whenever Deckard Cain itself comes out, and try and get together and do a stream night or something like that. Maybe a Monday or a Tuesday night or something.
I'm down. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And then I'll actually like pseudo stream, and so that way, long shot can be happy.
Get this man back on the stream.
Yep.
Excellent.
I'll get there one day. Maybe if I can get my PS3 or my PS4 to stream, then I can go and stream some God of War.
The remote play is not that difficult to set up, actually, if you want to look into it.
I might just have to.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that one.
No camera support, but you'll get to listen to me rant.
They can just imagine you in various outfits. You tell them you dressed up as the dude from God of War. I saw this really funny thing on on Twitter, where someone was like, God of War's not out yet, but you're channeling like your inner whatever, and it was like some dude dressed up as the dude. I don't know anything about this game, by the way.
Kratos. His name is Kratos.
Kratos, yes, that guy.
There you go.
And he was just like, at the copy machine, like making a copy dressed up, like in a normal office setting. It was pretty funny. Maybe you had to be there. In any case. Diablo 2.
Yeah.
We had some thoughts.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we had some thoughts in previous episodes about trying to get the band back together. I actually talked to Tivolier recently, and he said he'd be in for playing whenever the next ladder resets.
Ooh.
So we're starting to get a party together.
We're starting to get the band back together. That'd definitely be a throwback, playing D2 Tivolier.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the days.
Right.
Should we like if we do it though, we have to call him Water Fiend the entire time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we can not tell him that we're doing it. Maybe he'll watch this and he'll know, but we can like slip it in and he'll be like, "Oh, that's where they call me Water Fiend." But we'll just do it the whole time.
The entire time.
Yes. It's perfect. Conditions are perfect. But yeah, so for the community, if you guys want to join us in that, do you know when it's resetting?
I actually went back and looked this one up, and it's been roughly every 6 months, because I believe the last reset was normally happening in November and May.
Okay.
Were the two times it was going and reset, but this last one, it was I think it was held back all the way until December.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's something that we'll have to wait and see. So maybe it will be, or maybe we'll get it in like towards the middle of May. It might be all the way until June.
All right, so I guess stay tuned. We will let you guys know for sure what our plans are. But yeah, I'd love. I think we did it once before with a community vibe to just get everybody to come in. You got your 8-player games, so let's get a bunch of people in, Play some Diablo 2 for a little bit.
Though we'll probably have to not do hardcore, just because, when people died, it was impossible to get them back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to die, so I would prefer to not do Diablo 2 hardcore.
Mm-hmm. And so we could just go through and level, and then even though it's like an 8-person group and some people might get left behind, if you want to go ahead and play D2 with us at the same time, people can just kind of like rotate out depending upon how far we go.
Absolutely, that'll be fun. I'm excited.
I'm just it's like, ooh, I haven't played Diablo 2 in forever. It'll be awesome. There's actually been a lot of kind of Diablo 2 nostalgia going on lately. If you go and you check our Diablo, it's like the front page is almost all D2.
You're right. I've noticed that it kind of crept up a little bit more in like the last few months, and now recently it's just all of it almost.
Yeah, I think part of it, of course, is just because there isn't a whole lot new stuff going on in Diablo 3. People have been going back and checking out Diablo 2. Diablo 2 itself, because of the Mr. Llama and the speedrunning community, is actually still has a little bit of a community going on Twitch, and there's been quite a few people out there that have been putting out video content for D2 still, and it seems to be actually like nothing like huge or major, but still like 10,000, upwards of 10,000 views for like recent, like within the last couple of months, posted videos of like guides and things of that nature.
That's legit for a game that's almost multiple decades old now.
Yeah, coming up on it, just like 2 years away.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But the other big thing that I wonder if it has anything to do with that is because we're seeing a lot of these small little indie ARPGs that are all contributing that we're doing it in the legacy of Diablo 2, or we're wanting to do it in the style of Diablo 2. They're all kind of hearkening back to D2.
That's actually a good point, a good bridge. We have been seeing a lot of those, like even with David Brevik kind of still being out there. He's working on his game, It Lurks Below. So, some press there. And like you said, a bunch of these ARPGs, like, we are the love letter to those who love Diablo 2 and whatnot. Probably keeping the name relevant.
I'm sure that's going through. And a lot of them, there was like the big buzz around Wilson just a little while ago. And I think Riker has been doing some more video content. I don't know if they expanded their alpha, their little demo or not, to add more content in, because it was before like very, very short, like just like a couple hours worth of content in it. He's been doing some more videos on that. And then another one that we've been hearing a little bit about, the last epic. The last epoch? Am I saying that right? You're the English major.
I would say epic, but I also haven't heard this pronounced yet. So
yeah, so the last epic, that it just entered its Kickstarter, and so it's been doing kind of the streamer press rounds. Riker, Datmods, Wolfcrier have all been going through, trying it out, putting it out there, and showing some gameplay, and it looks really good for like a pseudo pre-alpha state.
Could be another contender. Is this the Diablo killer?
Nothing is going to be the Diablo killer, sadly, but it looks like it has a lot of legs, because I haven't looked too much into Wilson, but this one I actually did sit around last night and watch a little bit of the gameplay, and I have to say it calls back to a lot of the things that we've been talking about on the show. Because its skill system is really interesting, because as you level up, you unlock new kind of like skills, but then you gain like skill points that you then slot into the skill itself. So if you're going for a Beastmaster, I think it was like level 9, and you unlock like the Grizzly Bear, and you can either like turn the Grizzly Bear into a tank, or you can turn it into like DPS. And it's all based on how you spend your skill points. So you might have 2 level 20 Beastmasters that are both, speccing their Grizzly Bear, but they're completely different in how they play or what they do. Like, one doesn't really do any damage, and is just sitting there to tank, and he's put other of his points into, like, say, wolves or like the thorn totem or what have you, and that it gives you a lot of customization options because you're not tied to just a single skill tree. You've got, like, 20 skill trees, because each one of your skills has its own set of passives and abilities that you can refine.
Yeah, that does indeed sound a lot like some of the like write-ins that we've seen and ideas that we've discussed. It's really cool because I think, and I think we've iterated this on the show before too, but the more that is out there, the more ARPGs, and especially ones that are trying some different approaches that are out there, then I think the more, someone like Blizzard or another AAA company can take a look and see how they are implementing. And when I say they, like, I mean the other companies, see how they're implementing maybe something that could be cool to adopt into the next Diablo game as we have these discussions. And now we don't even have to really dream about it. We can see it on, in display, like out in the wild in a game, and, develop our opinions on how much we like it or don't like it.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of those ones I do want to go through and give a try, check out some of these ones, so maybe we can have an episode where we talk more in detail about particular titles to see, like, what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, I think we'll have to come back around to maybe like an ARPG roundup, and we can all go and try some different ones and see, what we're always saying to do, right? Go and try them and maybe compare them to Diablo, or at least keep that in mind and say, okay, I see that they do this a little differently, and I like that, or here's the reason why I think this might not work, and could inform us as more well-rounded gamers.
Mm-hmm. And it also is bringing to mind one other question that we've talked about a little bit, is you've seen, like, all these, like, independent companies going through and doing ARPGs that harken back more to D2 than D3. Where is Blizzard going to go? Which direction are they? Are they going to also kind of, like, take more of, like, a step back to, like, the old school ARPG with skill trees and level ups and rune words and things of that nature, or could they go a more Destiny-ish type route and kind of take that jump away from the isometric view?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what it depends, I guess, on how much they want to, like, play in the modern market versus the nostalgia market. And I think both are really strong right now. Like, I think you had just said it, this sort of resurgence of D2 love, probably because things like, this game, Last Epic, and PoE are continuing to do well. So they always kind of keep, again, that, like, style of game relevant in the modern age. But then, of course, you see these amazingly beautiful big games that could adapt themselves to be ARPG-ish, but definitely a bit of a departure from what we're used to. Mm-hmm. And it definitely gets you excited. It starts to make you think, like, how could the combinations of what's available and what we've seen in the past be put together for the next thing?
Yeah, because that kind of boils down to what makes it an ARPG. Is it the isometric view? Like, what are those mechanics?
Right. What can you live without, and what has to be there?
Yeah, because that was actually something that I saw posted back from this year's JDC. A couple of screenshots I saw posted to Twitter from a couple of developers from a panel that was talking more about, like, what's the difference between an RPG and an ARPG. And it was more of, like, almost like narrative techniques, where, like, in an RPG, the story drives your decisions, whereas in an ARPG, the character drives, the content. So, it's less about the story, more about the game, versus, the game itself, like, leading you along in a traditional RPG. And I didn't see, like, the whole panel, just a couple of slides that got shared of some interesting points from that talk or conversation. But it looked like, the devs are, going through and pondering these questions and decisions of what classifies it as an ARPG.
Yeah. And who's to say even that, there have to be these, like, strict rules to follow? Maybe the most successful game kind of eschews some of the standard traditions or things that you might think have to be there.
Yeah. David Bredlich, one of the fathers of Diablo, went and said that for ARPGs to really evolve, there has to be some sort of like next big step to make, but that he didn't really know what that step was. Like he couldn't find it when he was working on what was it, Marvel Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that he thought about and worked on and such, and that there's some big hurdles in order to kind of like step ARPGs into the next generation of games.
Yeah, man. If some of the greatest minds can't figure it out, then it'll be really interesting to see kind of what the compromise or the step that maybe the next step isn't even like the next complete step, but like another half step in trying to solve that problem.
Diablo 2.5 coming 2019.
To go forward, we must go back.
Yes, we're releasing. You've asked for it. We're doing it. We're releasing the second expansion for Diablo 2.
That'd be funny. Well, man, with that, I don't really have more topics for us. Do you think there's anything else that's just eating at you that you have to get out?
Not terribly at the moment. That does kind of wrap up a lot of it. We should, like you mentioned, we're probably by our next episode. We're still a little bit too early before we see that season end warning.
Yeah, probably, unless it'd be the earliest that we could see it potentially. Yeah. But yeah, I would agree with you that probably by the second episode after this one, we'd have it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then maybe some more BlizzCon details here and there.
Yeah, we can only hope. And we'll have some more BlizzCon details on that one.
Yeah, the news is going to be scarce. We're kind of in that time. Things are quiet.
But we'll still have stuff to talk about.
Always.
Even if it's movie reviews. Because I'll ship Leviathan a movie pass, just so that way he doesn't even have to pay to go to the movie. He just has to leave the house.
Hello and welcome to 9-Ball Phone. Well, hey, Infinity War is coming out, and I heard that that's already on track to be like redonkulous numbers-wise at the box office.
I think that it's getting close to. It has. I was trying to think of the exact wording of it. It is close to surpassing, or has not already surpassed, I think, The Force Awakens as the most number of pre-sold tickets of all time on Fandango, as far as like the pre-sales go.
Yeah.
And it already has out pre-sold the last 7 Marvel movies combined.
Yeah, that's the set I saw. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
So it is going to be ginormous.
I might see it.
And I might not live past next weekend. We'll have to wait.
Yeah, we'll see if next episode is a solo show. You will know why. This is your warning.
Yep, this is your one and final warning.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
I will need it. I legit will need it. But from there, I don't think that we have anything at the moment to pull from the community section. But I also was extremely delayed in getting the episode out there, so that is my fault. That one falls on my shoulders. Yes,
well,
without...
I was just going to say, though, good job clearing it all out last episode. I know we're sitting on those emails for so long.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that needed to be done. And this is something that I know happened, what was it, the summer of last year, where we had a couple episodes where it's kind of we were ping-ponging back and forth, and we hadn't gotten around to the community section in a while, and so we kind of just did one episode of nothing but community emails.
That's right.
But it was because we weren't reading them or going through and showing off the items, people were just less inclined to go through and send in stuff. So we're sorry.
Sorry.
We're so sorry. And we will read them next time, we promise.
Back on the train.
Mm-hmm. The hype train. To BlizzCon.
That's right. Starts now.
And we just hope that this isn't one of those Wile E. Coyote, paintings on the canyon wall, and that the train will continue to go through and not crash horribly.
Great analogy. Just painted the picture. Literally.
Literally. But anyways, if you want to go through and send us in, your feedback, your items of the week, and other stories, Westmarch Workshop at blizzpro.com. Drop us an email again at westmarchworkshop@blizzpro.com. We are also on the Twitters at the WM Workshop, so you can go through and follow us and find us there. And we also live stream every other Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/BlizzPro. And if you like what we do here, feel free to go ahead and hit the follow button. You can also go through and check out it's the BlizzPro Adventure Club, that they don't really have a set streaming schedule. They go and hop on pretty much whenever the channel is free, which is more or less like anything but Wednesdays, and they play just a bunch of games. So yesterday they were going through and playing Hearthstone with JR, and other times they've gone through and played like Friday the 13th and a whole bunch of other just like small like little indie games on Steam and what have you. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to go through and support the show or support the rest of the content that we do here at BlizzPro, since we are a Blizzard, a non-specific Blizzard fan site, we cover all the Blizzard titles. You can go ahead and hit the subscribe button in order to go through and help out with the hosting costs associated with the website and the show. From there, you can also find a lot of the topics that we talked about and more at diablo.blizzpro.com. We are even in-game. We are the BlizzPro clan. We've got lots of spots open, so if you're looking for people that are still active and out there playing, whether it be hardcore or softcore, go ahead, drop us a line. Ask for an invite, or just drop us an email and let us know a little bit about you, so that way we can go through and get you in. If you don't want to leave your current clan, we are the Westmarch Workshop community. You can always go through, hop in there, and chat with us. There's also the Discord server, discord.gg/BlizzPro. If you want to come out, hang and chat. And then, of course, you can find us individually. I am at 9ballgamer. I don't know if there's a point in me going through and saying it, but twitch.tv/9ball. If you want to go through and see the Necromancer reaction videos that I made almost a year ago to date, which is like the only thing that's still kept in there in the highlights. And maybe I'll stream like Diablo 2 or something here in the coming weeks. We'll find out. But this man over here, you can find him on Twitter at LeviathanD3, and he actually streams at twitch.tv/Leviathan111 if you want to keep up on the Diablo. And also, sounds like you were going to start branching out a little bit.
Yeah, man, I'm going to try and get a few different games on the stream, especially since D3 is kind of, like, if Season 14 is going to be pretty much the same, except, different Hadrigs at the start and different conquests. I'll certainly start out the season, but I want to definitely branch into some other things, so maybe a little Path of Exile. I think that I've heard their league resets on June 1st, and like I mentioned, some indie games, Crystals and Curses, and whatever else people suggest or throw my way. We'll try and mix it up.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely interested in this last epic out of all kind of the D2 clones that I've seen, just because this one actually is kind of like coming through with that idea that we were kind of hitting around, where it has you skill up your skills and you can make them all different and customize it to your own.
It's very intriguing.
Mm-hmm. But with that, I think we're done.
I guess that's it. Also, watch The Wire. That show is amazing.
I'll have to check that one out.